This is Josh Bycer from GameWisdom.com. Hope you enjoy this Critical Thought, your daily discussion on game design. And be sure to like and subscribe to the channel, and you can pitch future Critical Thought topics. Alright, everybody, before we get going with today's Critical Thought, just a little bit of news about what's going to be happening this week. First, I hope you're not getting sick and tired of watching me talk, as we have 2 live videos that will be going up in recorded form later this week. On Friday, it will be our Perceptive livecast with Trayvon Taylor if you missed the Twitch stream, and then on Saturday, it will be my Game Wisdom Live of the week, which of course airs Thursdays around 8 EST on Twitch, channel GW Bycer. And starting with this week's Game Wisdom Live, I'm going to try and give away at least one or maybe a little bit more of some of the free keys I got from my Humble Freedom Bundle. As you know, I got that last week, and there are a lot of games on there I already own. So be sure to tune in, and we'll see about giving some of that away. Other than that, I will be putting up the first part of my Bastion Let's Play at long last tomorrow, and this will probably be a quicker Let's Play, I think, considering how fast I'm going through it. But for today, our critical thoughts are going to be returning to the topic of DLC and download and microtransactional content. We're going to be talking about limited time DLC. This is one of the more polarizing terms, we should say, for critics of DLC and microtransactions. When we're talking about limited time content, we are of course referring to anything that obviously is only going to be around for a select period of time. This could be a few days, a month, a holiday season, or even during an entire Kickstarter campaign. And we'll be coming back to that in a few minutes. Limited time content, of course, is one of the many tricks that a game developer has in terms of monetizing their content, and it's a very powerful one as well. Basic marketing, of course, dictates that quality plus scarcity equals big bucks. Something that looks very basic and there's like 20 million of them, you're not going to get much for it. But if you have something that's high quality that you're not going to get anywhere else, and maybe there's only 5,000 of them, of course you can raise those prices up. And there are plenty of examples of limited time content in all sorts of free-to-play, social, and casual titles. Team Fortress, of course, has their annual holiday events. Each year, or at least for the last few years, they've had specific Halloween theme editions where you get exclusive items. I think they change them up each year. I know they've done something like the Headless Horseman or whatever, I think, special term they use. Another really big example, especially of 2016, will be Overwatch. And Overwatch, over the last year, has had several big events. From a summer, I think it was like the Rio Olympics, or I think the World Cup, something along those lines. They had a holiday theme for that. They obviously had this Christmas one, as you can see. And recently they had one, they had Halloween, and then they had one for the Chinese New Year. I think it was the Year of the Rooster, which of course brought exclusive skins for that. And with Overwatch, as an example, even though the items aren't limited in terms of number, they are limited in terms of time. Usually these events run, I think it's like 2 to 3 weeks. I may be a little bit off on that. And speaking of Blizzard, we of course have their season content for Diablo. As you know, usually I play Diablo 3 once every season just to see what's new and collect all their random doodads that they have up. And this goes back to the main point. Limited time content is a very effective way of driving interest to your game. And it's a good way of also cross-promoting this with sales. You know, have a sale for your game, have it 50-75% off, and then while those new people are playing, say, oh, well, by the way, if you play a little bit more, we'll have some exclusive content, but it's only for a limited time, and then it's all gone. And as I was saying a few minutes ago, this is when developers know they can raise the price or make it a little bit more challenging to get. Last year, of course, I bought the completely overkill pack for Payday 2, which I think it ran for like $30. It came with exclusive stuff, which after the whole incident, I guess, with the microtransactions and the safes, things were changed, updated, and that's another 10 minutes if we start talking about that now. But of course, free to play and casual games really make use of limited time content. During my time with Marvel Puzzle Quest, I think it was 2 years ago, I want to say maybe three, they ran special events for like various like comic book characters entering the game or specific story beats they wanted to do, and during this time they gave like increased chance for higher characters, more credits, and more content basically to get you to log in every day. And limited time content along this front, again, is a great way to push people into playing your game and to get those who may have stopped playing or taking a break to, dive back in. And as the saying goes, in for a penny, in for a pound. Once you've bought, some exclusive content, it's going to be easier for you to buy more and more and more. But the point for today's critical thought and what I want to talk about is the downside of limited time content. No matter how well you publicize it, no matter how clear you make it, there will always be people who will miss out. Be it because they weren't paying attention, they didn't get the emails, or they didn't even know that even existed. And that takes me back to what we were first talking about with Kickstarter. As you know, the Kickstarter boom, which I think we may need to actually dedicate a critical thought to at some point, brought with it a lot of games going to the platform. And with those games came a lot of different ways and tactics of getting people to pledge. And again, we can easily spend 10-15 minutes on that alone. But one of the more popular options, especially during like the 2013-2015 period, was having backer exclusive content. This could be something as simple as a unique skin to something more involved, like a custom character, custom power, or even like custom quests that other people will not be able to get. And this is the double-edged sword of this. The beauty of exclusive or limited time content, of course, is that it makes people want to buy it and get it because they can say that they're the only ones who have it. The downside, of course, is for everyone else, it's going to annoy them. And we've talked about this, I'm sure, before on the critical thoughts. But people don't like leaving things unfinished or only having partial content. And this is one of the things that drives a lot of people to wait for Game of the Year editions and to see just how season passes turn out. You don't want to buy a game for $40, $50 and find out, well, it turns out there's still $30, $40 more of content that the developers release afterwards. And we talked about the kind of DLC overload in an earlier critical thought, especially games like Train Simulator, Payday 2, and I'm sure a lot more on Steam. But limited time content makes things even worse because of the fact that once it's done, it's done. You can't get it anymore. And this can drive people crazy. With Darkest Dungeon, for instance, they released a exclusive Arbalest skin that was only going to be for backers only, and it annoyed people to find out that they're missing content. And right there, I know a few of you will probably say, what's the big deal? It is just cosmetic. But the point is that it's basically you're telling the consumer that we have stuff that you can't buy. And that can really rub people the wrong way. Now, this becomes even more complicated when you throw Kickstarter back content into the fray. Because you run this risk of making the content exclusive for the Kickstarters and then find that people want it and they can't get it anymore. Planetary Annihilation, I think, ran into this issue kind of with their Commander exclusive skins that they had for the Kickstarter campaign. They released more skins through their store over the course of early access and then through release, but there were skins that you couldn't get anymore because they were for backers only. And that, of course, raises another very interesting debate. If the developer decides, 6 months, 2 years, whatever down the line, that they would like to sell that content, is it all right to do so? And let me know what you think below about that, because there are points on both sides. From the sell point of view, the fact that it's more money. If people are really interested in this and they're willing to spend that extra money, why should you deny them? On the other hand, from the Kickstarter point of view, if you said that this was exclusive and a limited time only, and then you go back around and sell it whenever, then it seems like you're kind of betraying the Kickstarter's trust. And that can lead to all kinds of trouble as well. And this is why, for the most part, that limited time content has certainly been downplayed over the last few years. We of course still see pre-order content or pre-order bonuses, but those tend to be released as either separate DLC or folded into the Game of the Year edition whenever that comes out. But in terms of having, 1 month you can get this and then it's gone forever, that tends not to happen all that much. Even something like the Overwatch skins from earlier, I'm pretty sure Blizzard will have them for next year, or I'm sorry, for this year's holiday season, for a chance to get those back. And this leads me, or this, I guess, will take us to the end for today's critical thought with a little bit of a game design powwow session. For those of you watching, do you think there is a way to keep everyone happy? Have this content that's limited, be it for holiday, Kickstarter, or a limited time purchase, but still give the option for people who missed out a chance to get it. Like I said, no matter how well you publicize it, you will always have people who never knew about it and they want it, but it's not available anymore. So, is there a happy medium in this? I was thinking about this last night, and some of my thoughts was maybe have a time limited offer for anyone who buys the game. Like, let's say you buy the game and you have 48 hours if you would like to buy the backer or the exclusive content. If you don't buy it before then, it's lost to you. But then, of course, you run into that kind of pressure tactics. Another idea would be having a special premium DLC pack that would include that. Maybe it could be half the price of the retail game. Again, this really leads to a lot of tricky discussions about if someone's willing to pay for the stuff, how much should you charge them? And is it considered exploiting them to say, well, we had all this great content, but you missed out. But if you want it, well, how much do you want to spend? Give us some extra money and we'll think about it. And it's never easy to go about this. And this is why, when it comes to limited time content, it is very much a double-edged sword for game development. For those of you watching this, are there any examples of limited time content that you particularly like? Obviously, we can think of a lot of examples of when it doesn't work. But are there times where you do enjoy having these limited time exclusives for your game? And like I said a few seconds ago, can you think of a happy medium between exclusive for 1 month and then it's gone forever, and having it open for anyone and everyone to buy? So with that said, let's wrap things up for tonight. Like I said, be sure to tune in tomorrow for Game Wisdom Live. And if you have any suggestions for critical thoughts, dissecting designs, anything like that, be sure to let me know in the comments. As I said, be sure to check out the Bastion Let's Play starting tomorrow. Don't worry, I don't think this is going to be a 20-30 video series at the rate I'm going. And otherwise, thank you so much for watching. As I said earlier, thank you so much for everyone who is liking and subscribing, as we have gone past 1,300 subscribers, and we are on our way to 14. I don't know if I'm going to do another Let's Play vote, but we'll see what happens. So, with that said, once again, I'm Josh Bycer from GameWisdom.com. Check back daily for more great content here and on the site, where we examine the art and science of games. And I will see you tomorrow live, and we will see what happens then. Anyway, talk to you tomorrow. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you enjoy it, be sure to like and subscribe to the channel, and of course share with your friends. It always helps out. For daily posts on all manner of game design and industry topics, check out game-wisdom.com. To support the site and everything that I do, be sure to check out the Patreon campaign. If we can hit goals, it will mean more content for everyone to enjoy, and I'll be able to support myself and my household. If you want to follow me, you can find me on Twitter at GWBycer for updates throughout the day and random thoughts from me. And lastly, you can find me on Twitch right over there at GWBycer for daily streams most nights around 10 Eastern. Thanks again for watching the video, and be sure to check out more great content coming to the Game Wisdom channel real soon.